You're watching Hellbent Holler live, part of the Hellbent Media Network. Grab a drink, settle in, and get ready for the show. Hello. I just saw myself on the camera. Hello and welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. Oh, I know I looked at myself in the mirror before we did this, but it's totally worth it to see it in the camera. All right, so welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. Let's get the show started. I love it. There is a glare from my computer in here, though. Look at that. Oh, yeah. How's that? That's nice. All right, guys. This is who I am now.
Like the cryptid hunting Dale Gribble. So, yeah.
Yeah, Busty T. Shackelford is what they call me.
Busty T. Shackelford.
Oh, I can't do the shades the whole time. I did get these from the Love's Truck Stop, and I love them. I've been searching for them for a long time. They're actually shooting and night driving glasses, but I've been looking for these because I wanted to look like the guy at the bait shop that you don't want to talk to you but won't stop talking to you. So mission accomplished. Let's get it going. I got such a kick out of that. I know, right?
All right.
All right. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. My name is Jesse. This is Joe. And we are your hostesses with the mostesses. And this is a weekly show that we do on our channel to kind of have a impromptu, unscripted, unplanned conversation with everybody that watches the channel and likes to interact with the channel. We don't really have an agenda most of the time. It's kind of let's go in here and just have a free-form open discussion with everybody. And that's what we're doing today.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I want to thank our members, our channel members, for being a part of this cool project. And you guys are the real MVPs on this. And so I was going to premiere Equinox Part 2 tonight before the show, and YouTube's upload speed has been atrocious.
Abysmal. I had to just switch off. Actually, it looks like lots of stuff is running slow.
Yeah, so I checked our internet speed and everything like that. That was all fine. I guess it's on YouTube's end. So we kind of bandied about the idea of if it gets uploaded completely and processes completely, that we might. Did we go down?
No, this is my internet connection. I'm on a separate internet connection.
If we get it uploaded completely and it processes completely, we might go ahead and premiere it tonight during the show. So if we do that, we will make it live, a live premiere. We'll all head over there and we'll have a live chat going on that video if we premiere that tonight. If you guys want to join us over there, if it processes and gets through quick enough, we will do that. So, because I know everybody has been waiting for Equinox Part 2 to come out after we were out there and we found those parts of those stuffed animals, that stuffed animal, and then those clothes buried in that hole in the woods. They kind of want to see what happened the rest of the night. So that's done. That's uploading. So if that comes out, we might premiere that tonight. We all do a big old group chat on that. I think that would be kind of cool. So we had a pretty wild weekend.
Craig the Hunter's in here. You can usually find us on his show because our boy, he goes by Count Yorga over there.
Stingray.
That's where Stingray is usually at. So yeah,
Stingray does that show on Craig the Hunter's channel. It is a chaotic daily. It's like a chaotic Today Show almost.
Yes,
it's like
skits. They got skits going on. They got the whole nine. So
it's like if the Today Show was done from an insane asylum.
Exactly.
So that is always a good watch. Our boy Stingray is over there on that as Count Yorga, and we're big Yorgaites. We're disciples of Yorga. So big shout out to our boy Marcus Aurelius for the hat.
The hat was supposed to be for me, but
I think I'm doing the great job, and Joe's doing the terrible job. Now, so I wanted to wear Joe's hat, but this hat's for Joe. Marcus Aurelius sent me a really cool Halloween edition ghost t-shirt, which I freaking love, as well as a cleansing kit for the house that had 3 types of sage, an abalone shell, a stand, and some incense and a feather in it. So that was pretty awesome. We really appreciate that. Based on the crazy stuff that we experienced over the weekend, gonna have to probably do a thorough saging of the house before I host Thanksgiving, before my family comes in here, because we probably have something terrible attached to us after all of that crap that went on over the weekend. So if you guys were party to the weekend, not partying during the weekend, if you're party to the weekend at Saturday night, we were up in the dark corner area and we tried to go live. We were in a cemetery on a mountaintop, and it's a place we had been to before, and we actually got some signals. We were like, oh, let's go live. Let's try to go live. Tried to go live, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't connect at all. But apparently it queued up a show, and then nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
So left y'all hanging for a couple of hours, but we didn't have any signal, so I took my Garmin InReach Mini and I messaged out with that to Katie, and Katie kind of let y'all know that we were alive during all of this. So we are alive. That's our proof of life portion of the show, that we're here, we're alive. We're not dead yet, despite Minnie's efforts.
Thank you for that, Hawk. Damn, Hawk out the gate. We haven't even done anything yet. Thank you.
I think it's just because we're alive.
I think it's just because we're alive, yeah. But yeah, Jesse commandeered the hat, Marcus. Needless to say, that hat was supposed to be coming to me, but that's all right.
Yeah, so that's not happening. So I'm the one doing the good job now. So just you
so
guys need to
knows.
make note of that I'm the one doing the good job now. But yeah. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and we'll roll up into this. We'll start talking about this weekend, actually. This weekend
Flirting with Disaster just hit the love button.
Ho
ho ho.
That was for Busty T.
What's that?
That was for Busty T. Shackelford.
Busty T. Shackelford.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Hawk, thank you for that, by the way. We greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
We actually had to, so let's jump into it. We tried to stream from that cemetery. We hiked in, and it's a ways back in there to this cemetery from the 1850s.
It's 1850, yeah.
1850. And there was a road once upon a time that led up to it. That road washed out like years ago. And when we first went up to that area, it looked like somebody was maintaining it. And that is no longer taken to effect. Because like I said, it's like 8-10 miles in there on foot to get up to it. And if you make it, you ain't carrying like a weed whacker back there with you.
Yeah.
So the cemetery is no longer upkept. The forest is taking it back over. And we were up there. We were going to hike in and do. Jesse wanted to do an Estes session from up there. And hiking in, we already had crazy sounds coming up around us. We were hearing like some really wild stuff. So we got up there. We had a little bit of a signal. So Jesse tried to do this. Well, all the equipment started going haywire. The camera that we were like trying to record off of went down, and we ended up losing a bunch of the files. We're still seeing what went down. Well, the IR light that was on the camera is no longer functional, so we had to replace that.
Yeah.
So, Hawk, that money's going to a new IR light for it.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah, my backpack flew.
When Jessie says her backpack flew, we had her backpack leaning against.
It's an old cemetery, and inside the cemetery, there's one section that has like these two walled areas. The walls are what, 2.5,
3 feet tall, something like that.
I do have to jump up to get on top of them.
Yeah.
So, it was leaned against that, and then I didn't get that part on camera directly. I was filming you because we're working on a new little experiment that we're doing. We'll talk about that too. And the backpack just flies. You can hear it, and then all of our sensor tech just goes off and goes crazy. So it was a weird.
And when she says flew off, the backpack didn't just tilt forward; it went like 2 feet. Forward
towards
me, left the ground and like went down right at the same time that everything like went live. So it was just a crazy night. Not to mention that whatever happened with YouTube.
Sorry about that. My mother was pretty pissed off at me. She I got an earful. She was like, she thought we were dead because we were supposed to come on. It said that we were coming on at any time, and then we were just not heard from again for hours at a time. That's why we busted butt to get off of that mountain and come down to where we could get a signal to let you guys know that we weren't dead. And of course, as soon as we get to the base of the mountain and get out of the area and get to where we had our car parked, gunshots. So
when we say gunshots, I've got to highlight this. Maybe the gunshots were from Busty T. Shackelford's. That name is taken off. Bodyguards protecting Team Holler from multiple dogmen closing in on your position. Where we're at in that area, it's an old. There's that old cemetery that's not maintained. There's an old hiking trail that's not maintained. Because we have to do like some maintenance on there sometimes when we go along to kind of cut our way through. It's unpassable in the summertime. We try to do it in the summertime, and we were just going. It looks like ticks have set this place up. It's just, but in the wintertime, we can cut our way.
Did a tick make this post?
Did a tick make this trail? Anyway, so there's a fishing spot a few miles off, but there was like nobody there. We just heard it was a bunch of like, honestly sounded like somebody was just laying down some hate on somebody else there with a handgun. So we were just like, all right, people get up to some shady stuff out here. Or maybe somebody ran across something that they didn't want to. But it was like a weird night. Weird night from start
very weird night. And so we went up there. We did some experiments.
Thank you, Craig, for that. Thank you very much,
Craig.
sir.
Thank you. We did some experiments that we've been talking about doing for a while. We deployed a few things. We did not deploy the beacon because we wanted to keep it sort of focused on what we were doing because again, it's just two of us out in the woods. It's just two of us. It's Joe and I. We carry all this stuff out there. We hike miles and miles and miles. We went straight up the side of a mountain to get to this cemetery. We can't take all this crap. So, and I didn't want to include the beacon in what we were up to because it was already weird enough as it was. But we used my new Ghost box that I got. I got a PSV7 Pro, which we just saw this exact model on Ghost Adventures the other day. So you're welcome, Zach Bagans, for the
gear kit, for the gear hint.
Right, so so we got this new Ghost box because I had that one that I had in the LBL and the sweep rate sucked. The sweep rate was terrible. So we ended up ordering this. Thanks to our members, we were able to upgrade our Ghost box, and we are able to get this Cadillac of a Ghost box. So we were able to do an Estes session in that mountaintop cemetery with this and actually deploy this for the first time in the field. And we were pretty excited about doing it. This thing is awesome.
What's crazy is that so Jesse's there. She's got the Estes session. She didn't want to put a blindfold on because we were hearing screams around us. So she turns away from me She's got the headphones in, and you'll see it when you release the video, because I'm sure the microphone had to pick up some of what Jesse's like doing the SD session. I'm asking her questions. She's yelling out what she hears on the
For anybody that's not familiar with an Estes session, so what we do, I'm just going to give the quick rundown on that of what it is. I think, what's his name? Connor Randall. He does stuff with the Newkirks. I think he's the person that really, he and his partner actually came up with this whole thing at the Stanley Hotel, which is the hotel that they filmed The Shining at. The Shining is based on the Stanley Hotel that's supposed to be really haunted. But they came up with this method of doing the ghost box sessions, the spirit box sessions, where the person that goes in puts on noise canceling headphones and a blindfold so they can't see the other person. The other person is the one asking the questions. Normally, you would just have your ghost box out and you would just ask questions and then the response comes through. But with an Estes session, you have somebody that kind of does some sort of channeling in a way that goes in. And I always am the one that does that, it seems like. But I wore the noise canceling headphones. I didn't wear a blindfold because it was just too freaking dangerous with what we do. We don't go into like haunted houses where we can walk out the front door. We're in a mountaintop cemetery surrounded by woods and screaming.
Yeah.
So, so you're cut off, and then the other person, your partner, will ask questions, and the person that can't see or can't hear will just call out whatever they hear coming through on Spirit Box. So go on.
Real quick, Marcus, thank you for that. He was just like, if you stage the new Homestead, what will happen to the I'm doing a great job on show? He sent you like a pack of just, I don't know this stuff, but I had messaged Marcus.
3 types of sage.
Yeah, and I just went, whatever you sent her, she was exceptionally excited by. So thank you. And thank you for that, by the way, buddy. So
yeah, Marcus, if you weren't in here earlier, I've taken Joe's hat for the night. So
taking the hat. For the night. So real quick, a couple of quick things here. Somebody had mentioned that they just got back from CryptidCon and they saw our profile on one of Martin Groves' posters. And then I was going to mention it, but then our boy himself is here. Martin Groves was at CryptidCon. I messaged him earlier to ask how it went, but I don't know if he's had a chance to see it yet. But Martin Groves, I guess, was the big hit at CryptidCon.
Well, I can imagine Martin Groves holds court everywhere he goes.
Everywhere you go to with Martin Groves. He's
never met a stranger.
Everywhere you go to with Martin Groves, we're all just kind of like we're like the entourage, the Martin Groves entourage. And
women walk up to him and it's like they're meeting Pope John Paul II. That's what's happening. Oh, Martin Groves.
What's crazy is that my favorite one is this lady walks up to him and she's just excited. She's like really nervous. And she's just like, I'm just so excited to meet you. And Martin just grabs her hand and he's like, I'm just so excited to meet you. I'm so excited that we got to, please tell me whatever you can. Please tell me your story. And the lady's just like, just instantly at ease, just talking. So anyway.
He's the Pope of the Paranormal.
Pope of the Paranormal. So
if I can say that correctly.
All right, Busty T. Shackelford.
All right, let me answer Kim's question about jerky. I think that's pertinent and very important.
Very pertinent. So
let me get where I started. I swear to you. There it is. Kim Drescher. Kim Drescher asks, so I know this is totally off topic, but my parents are coming up this week from the South and going to Buc-ee's on the way. What kind of jerky should they bring me? I highly recommend the peppered turkey jerky. That is my favorite by far. It is absolutely delicious. If you like a spicy jerky, I do suggest the hot and spicy. That's Joe's forte, but I am a peppered turkey jerky fanatic. So that's been the jerky report.
The jerky report. All right. So,
all right.
Anyway, let me get back in here.
The jerky.
We had a few other things here. Real quick, I'll answer this one because you were actually working on stuff when I clicked on it. Miranda wanted to know what we thought about the canine tracks at Black Mass. Black Mass found some really big canine tracks that looked extremely similar to those, like 5.5-inch tracks, canine tracks that we found near the power line cut
at the LBL
near the 82 Massacre site.
Okay.
Really similar to them.
Yeah.
Really similar to them. He was in the process of casting them and all that. And again, that's on the high end of normal. You've got some extremely large dog breeds that have feet that are that size. Generally, you don't see those sort of dogs running solo. Those dogs are usually have like owners with them, and there's a
Yeah,
company.
you're not gonna have a feral Great Dane in a national park.
Even bigger than like Great Dane, but like
Yeah.
you would usually see shoe or boot prints along with them, which
Mhm.
we didn't see. Brian didn't see them either.
Okay.
So Brian's on like a motorcycle, which was like a great idea. He's tooling around on this. I can't remember what motorcycle it was, but he said it was like really inexpensive. It's basically a beater motorcycle that he's got, and he had like casting material, so he was like casting it. So I'm curious to see what came up. But
yeah, that's cool.
those were very, very similar to what we have found as well. And he's in an area known for dogman activity.
And he's in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, he's up in Tennessee when he was doing that. So it was really, really cool.
It checks out. It checks out.
Brian does like real good. He's another guy who gets out there. And it's funny because he's on there and he's got equipment, a camera, and he's trying to pour casting material. And somebody in the chat's like busting on him. And I'm just like, listen, man, if you guys have never done this before, it's difficult enough with 2 people, let alone with just 1. And you're trying to cast something as well.
We tried to cast a footprint one time. It was a beautiful footprint. I mean, gorgeous footprint. The best footprint you've ever seen. So we were trying to cast that footprint, and we did not have enough casting material. And
we did not have enough
it was
material.
such a letdown when I poured it. And
it was just this weak little dribble of like casting material into the thing. So
it was a dribble. It was so sad. But yeah, I think that was the last time we tried to cast anything, because we hauled a bunch out there and we still didn't have enough to cast this print. And it was so far out there. There's no way we could go get more because we hiked miles and miles to do this. So I think that's when we just decided, let's just photograph and document these prints as best we can and then keep moving.
Jumpin' Jack Flash said that he met Martin at CrypticCon. So yep. Let's see.
I didn't see too many posts from Cryptic. I've not been online very much, but I hope everybody had a good time. I had
another person talking about how they saw the post. I guess Martin had the poster up there. So, and Martin says he gave over 300 written invitations to come to Hellman.
Oh, love you, Martin. You're awesome.
Oh, Marcus, thank you for that again. He asked if that's a black honest necklace that you're wearing.
No, this is actually a necklace from a friend of ours, a friend of the show. This is an amethyst necklace. It's for protection. I am wearing this one. Also got some bracelets to help
protective bracelets
protect us from all of this crap that we encounter. But this is from Sabrina. She wrote us a nice letter with it, explaining what every one of these stones is for, their use of protection, and they're for spiritual healing. And it's stuff that we absolutely need.
We don't wear them on the investigations because we're inviting stuff to come in.
So when we get done, then we put this back on.
We literally these have a place in the car now. When we get back to the car and we're coming back in, we put them on.
But a huge thank you to my favorite screen name, Way of the Sploot.
Way of the Sploot.
For these. This is really awesome, and we love them. We absolutely love them. So thank you very much for that.
So thank you for that, Alan. How gosh, people are being extremely. We need it after the equipment failure. I mean, literally, I've got to figure out. And I think that the files that are corrupted, actually, there are messages that show the file is corrupted. It can't be saved. I've never seen that on we were using our Sony. We weren't using GoPros. We weren't even using.
Now our GoPros have crapped the bed on us several times before.
In weird spots, but the Sony has been really like rock solid so far. So I don't know what happened with that. So thank you for that, Alan. We wanted to go up to Sony because we've heard weird stuff in that area before. And the GoPro microphones and the Phasm microphones were too small to get them. So we've got a shotgun mic that we carry on the Sony. So that's why we were carrying that. It's a pain in the ass to carry because it's big and it's heavy and you got to have it on a tripod. But I've never seen it go down like that. And that spot was just wrecking havoc with us. So.
I'm going to clear this up here. I watched the video a couple of times. That was the video I made Saturday night after we got out of there and got to safety to let you guys know we were at safety-ish. The second time I caught the part where the shooters were coming your way and you had to cut it short, a cliffhanger, and glad as you got out. We don't know if that was.
We don't know if that was.
We don't know if that was the shooters or not. But we didn't want to take a chance. We wanted to kind of get out of there because that was the only area where we had signal in the entire area. and we did not want to be on the side of the road there after
Mhm.
we were just near. We don't know what happened with that, so we did not want to be privy to it. We don't want to know. We don't want to be. We see nothing. We say nothing.
See
we want no
nothing.
part of this, so
Yeah.
we just want to get out of there.
A lot of members in the thing tonight. Hey, thank you guys that joined the members program as well. That has been a huge help. It's going to let us deploy some new equipment like we're already starting to see. It's going to let us hit some stuff. It's going to let us get more stuff out
Oh
to
yeah,
you. So
yeah.
we've been getting some emails from people asking how to join the membership. I also got a couple of emails of people going, I can't believe you've cut everybody else out other than the members. And I'm going, the same amount of stuff is coming out for the regular,
Mhm.
you know, for everybody. So it's just there's going to be some members only stuff coming out. So add a couple other things on here.
What you got, Mr. Joe?
Moondog Davis had said, we are the poster children of the LBL.
Well,
There's a lot of people doing LBL
Yeah.
stuff. I will say one thing that we
might be retiring from the LBL.
we might be retiring from the LBL for a while, but we do get out there and hit it hard when we hit it. So
Yes, we do, but it's getting oversaturated, and that's a long haul for us.
it's a long haul. So we're gonna still do it, but
we might do it maybe one. We might have one more send off. I think we might have one
and then
big
take a
send
break
off
for a while from
and then
it,
we'll
so.
take a break for a while from the LBL
Yeah.
because we've got a lot of stuff going on down here.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this neck of the country that we've been kind of just putting back on the wayside. Dewey had asked where you got that ghost box from. I think I ordered that off of
It came from Ghost Augustine.
Ghost Augustine. Yeah, okay. Ghost Augustine. And then this came up, LW Marshall, the Ketchum Bigfoot DNA study has been discussed at the last two conferences I've attended, both positive and negative angles. Oh, I bet it has been. What do y'all think of it? I remember when they were collecting samples for the DNA study, and some of the samples that were going up, and some of the samples that were going up, I thought had some good pedigree, and others I thought maybe not so much. But you know what? I think that's going to be true with anything you do with this field. There's going to be some that you look at, and a lot of that is just due to personal bias on it. I thought that the sample from the old broken pipe that J.C. Johnson and his crew sent in, where it looked like something was trying to get, I think it was like a muskrat, out of a pipe that had like a broken area, and it looks like it had cut itself on the pipe. And with a little bit of like hair and meat and blood on there that they sent in. I always thought that was going to be really good. You're just laughing right now.
I'm just this grimy muskrat abuse that's going
on. So I was really excited about it, and then it came out, and then it was such a freaking just shitstorm of just people for and against it. I kind of fell out of. I just thought it was kind of useless at that point.
Yeah.
But then, I'm going to be honest with you. I read Scott Carpenter's book, and some of the stuff that he posited in there, it's very compelling. I understand that well, I want to back this up real quick. Melba Ketchum has got people who feel very strongly about her one way or the other. And I think a lot of it, the public discourse on the DNA study became more about how you felt about Melba Ketchum than how you felt about the DNA study.
I think a lot of people who were very much against her personally poisoned the well against the study in general.
And I think too that you will see people take a very harsh stance against her, but then they will just embrace with wide open arms other people that are involved in this with like a scientific background. So I think that on this, a lot of it just came down to just personal bias. I will tell you right now that after reading Scott Carpenter's book, I am more inclined to think that the chances of there being some sort of like campaign against it to get it like ridiculed and kicked out so that people didn't take it seriously, I could see that happening. Unfortunately, when you get to something like that, you've got one group of people who are going, this study is from the science of genetics is sound. And then you have other people going from the science of genetics, it's not sound. And I don't have a background in genetics, so I don't know who to believe.
So did they discuss this at CryptidCon? Because David Paulides was there, and he gets real jacked up.
He gets real
about
jacked
that.
up about it.
Especially, I think Matt Pruitt was the MC, so I'm sure they got to swing some purses at each other.
Yeah, I'm sure they went at it hard. Well, remember in Florida, supposedly Jeff Meldrum and David Paulides got into it.
Yeah.
And that video hit the airwaves, and then it was just gone. So
the Bigfoot airwaves.
The Bigfoot airwaves. So there we go. Anyway, let me catch up on some more of this stuff. They're saying David Paulides gave him a hug. David Paulides is, while as much as we find his work extremely interesting, he's not a very warm man. You know,
he kind of gave you a hug at CryptidCon.
He kind of did give me a hug. I take that back. Yeah. Here's the deal. Anybody that's the more public exposure you get on this
human warmth,
and
care.
The more high profile you get in this stuff, I guess the more on guard you've got.
You have to be. My God, people threatened to chop us up and bury us before.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just what we're getting.
You don't know what kind of crazy.
We're like nobodies. Imagine what Paulides is getting.
And these people, some of these people that attend these conferences, they eat hot dogs at 9 a.m.
You were never going to let that go. So thank you, Steve Causey, our boy Steve Causey in the house. So Marcus Aurelius damn, Marcus tearing it up again as usual. Sorry, yes, Amethyst. I also wear one in my haunted 1909. He's got that classic haunted house he's got. So
our house is what,
1920s?
No, our house is 100 years old.
Yeah, well, that would be 1920s, 100 years old. 2023, 1920.
Oh, it is.
Arithmetic's not your big point. Not your big point, Busty Shackelford. So
thank God. I think I've got some redeeming qualities.
So
I was thinking.
Dennis Meredith, I think you might have emailed us, Dennis, about your membership. Email me again. YouTube handles all that stuff, but see if we can help you get through it there. I think you're Missouri Broad. So anyway, we had a few more topical type things I wanted to get.
I threw some topical stuff on there too.
All right, let me just get some topical stuff on here real quick.
California Ryan, did you get that one already?
I did not, but
California Ryan. Appreciate you too. Appreciate you, California Ryan. That's not homeless Ryan?
Is that not homeless Ryan if you changed your name? Or is this a new Ryan?
Not homeless anymore, Ryan. Living it up, California style.
Rick wanted to know, in one of your previous live videos, you came upon roads that were closed to vehicle traffic in the LBL. You ever find out why the roads were not to be used? Some of it is as mundane as the fact that they don't have the money to maintain the roads. They become impassable. Other times, like Martin Groves will tell you, it seems that they will suddenly shut down roads. Nobody knows why, but they'll be in areas where there have been reports of dogman and Bigfoot sightings or encounters. So like that closed down campground we took everybody into.
Mm-hmm.
When they closed it down for kind of some shaky reasons, shaky public reasons, they closed some roads off around it. And then they kind of expanded that perimeter, closed down some more roads, and then expanded that perimeter again. So wild ass guess, they're shutting down areas because they know that most people won't go in on foot, and that keeps them away from things they don't want them to run into at that point. So
yeah, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. There's so much like disinformation going on that you just have no idea what's real, what's not, what has a purpose, what is a potential cover up for something. And I don't want to get too conspiratorial without my glasses on.
Yeah, get those glasses on there, Dale. So thank you for that, David Nelson. Thank you so much.
Could be closing the roads to keep you from the dog man.
Yes, indeed. So Enzo wanted to know, is there a way to use those Faraday bags to help protect your equipment? Would it even do anything? We're actually experimenting with that. And we have got some things that offer some like EMF protection that we're experimenting transporting the equipment in, but we've got to take them off to use the equipment.
Yeah.
We're using that to try to, in these areas where we have equipment drain and equipment malfunctions, we're using it to transport equipment in, but we got to take it out. But we're messing around with some stuff to do on that. So
I sent Joe a link the other day that there is EMF blocking underwear and t-shirts and hats, like a full full clothing that block EMF. It's called Lambs is the brand.
Well, there's those hex suits as well
Yeah.
that supposedly block out any sort of like, and those are made for hunters. HECS hex suits, and they supposedly block out your natural electromagnetic signal that you generate up, and to see if that will help you sneak up on game a little bit. So, boy, Daryl Denton just popped in. What's up?
Hello, Daryl Denton. Nice to see you, boy. How you doing?
Bristol wanted to know, do you guys plan on going back to the cemetery? Yes.
Yeah.
We're not going to try to live stream, and it's way too deep in to try to even consider hiking the cell booster back in.
Yeah, so. No, it is a long. By the time we hike out of there, we are just beat. We are beat. So hiking a cell booster and the tower, because the cell booster it's in a box that's about this big, and it's sort of heavy. And then you have a tower it has to go on. The tower goes, what, 20 feet?
15 feet, 20 feet. We usually try to pick the highest elevation.
It's a telescoping tower. It's like it looks like a tripod basically, but it's heavy and it's cumbersome. So hiking all that stuff back is it's not doable. We don't have a mule, so a mule. Yeah.
It was a skunk, not. Thank you for that, Ghetto Yeti. A skunk hit in, not. What did I say it was?
A muskrat.
Muskrat. Okay.
You went for the obvious choice, the muskrat.
Yeah. So now, Cowboy 4572 had a good one. When picking places to investigate, do you consider David Paulides' profile points? Yes, we do. Granite fields. We don't really pay too much attention to the berry portion of it. Berries in season. But like granite fields. Matter of fact, there is an area. Let's just say the area near the cemetery has had some weird disappearances and a weird appearance that you've talked about before. So yeah, we definitely, we're, like I said, we are big. I know David Paulides, again, like everything else in this thing, has very strong opinions for and against, but we are big fans of the missing 411 stuff. We find it very, very useful. We follow the Paulides rules. We don't go alone. We carry a personal locator beacon and we go armed. So
we make a joke about that a lot too. We don't really make that joke much anymore, but we used to make that joke. Don't get Paulides. I
turned it into a verb. So,
yeah, somebody suggested I post the membership link in the chat. I just posted that. That's where you can join memberships and contribute to our work.
Kim Drescher says, I think the phenomenon knows when you're looking for it. I also think the phenomenon has a certain type they want. I would agree with you on both of those points. I would even take it as far as to say that I know the phenomenon knows when you're looking at it. I used to kind of just attribute it to the fact that people who were just completely shut off to this stuff and just are going to find up a debunking reason for everything, no matter how blatant it is. I just thought that maybe it was happening to them and they were just ignoring it to the point where it was almost pathological, the way they just had a pathological obsession to debunk it and to not accept what was going on. I think that goes on to a certain extent too, but I also think that there are people that think it's all just hogwash because it doesn't happen to them and it never will happen to them. And there are other people then that seem to be a magnet for it. And I also definitely agree that the phenomenon knows when you're looking for it, and it knows when you are going to stop looking for it, because we've almost quit a few times. Not because of let's just put it like this. Sometimes this is not very fruitful, but it's always extremely difficult to do. So you go out, you go weeks and weeks with nothing weird happening, and you're going into all the spots. You're going into spots with recent activity. You're going into spots where you've experienced weird stuff, and you're just going there for like 3 days at a time, just over and over and over again, and nothing's happening. And you just hit that point where
it's very frustrating.
You're going, I'm tired of like carrying all the stuff. I'm tired of like living off of like power bars and Pop-Tarts for 3 days, being, dehydrated, just doing all this stuff. I just want to give it up. And then all of a sudden, and if you just say that and you don't mean it, it has no effect at all, because I've tried to do that before. But when you get to the point where you mean it,
where you're just like a raw nerve,
where you feel it and you just go, I'm done. This is not worth it anymore. I'm done. Something will happen to draw you back in 100% of the time so far.
Yeah. So. We've pretty much quit. We've quit several times at this point and just said, F it, we're done. And then just take 10 steps and something happens. I'm like, Yeah.
Spirit Brothers UK from across the pond.
I think a lot of that is like the trickster element, though.
That
you
is a lot
know?
of it. Well, and it's a trickster element, not in so much that it. Let me define the trickster element. A certain portion of that element is just like, oh my Lord, where are my keys at? They were just here. How did they get on top of this refrigerator? You know, and you start having like weird poltergeist type activity
Yeah.
like that. Okay. Or, you know, the TV remote ends up in the freezer or something like that, you know, and it's being moved. Things are being apported. They're being moved from one place to another. And it's like a mischievous kind of whimsical type thing. Well, a trickster, that trickster archetype breaks boundaries. Okay. It's a boundary breaker. You never know. And part of that is what's real and what's not real. And we've been in that before when we're just going, I don't know what, you know, everything has that weird Oz effect to it. Everything, it's like you're in a dream state. Things don't quite seem real. We've been out before and just looked at each other and gone,
Yeah.
it's like you're in like a dreaming haze almost. And that thing of just, you know, not knowing, just not knowing. That's a perfect summarization of it. You don't know. It's a not knowing. That's the trickster. The bounds are broken. What's real and what's not real. It's everything's kind of blurred at that point.
And it hides itself in that.
Yes. So Dewey is working on a project. He had an electromagnetic pump called the EMFer. And then
if anybody steals that from Dewey, I
wasn't going to mention it, but he's got it on here. So
yeah,
people have seen it. Now he's working on the super EMFer. So,
yeah.
So you heard it here first. And if anybody comes up with it,
I know you all like to
we'll
take
know
things.
that somebody ripped it off from the Dew. So my boy Michael Russell popping in.
Hello, Michael
What's
Russell.
up, Michael Russell?
Marcus Aurelius just threw one at us. Will you do an LBL ghost box investigation at a cemetery someday?
When we do the LBL again.
When we do the LBL again, I think I want to focus on some more of the paranormal aspects of the LBL. And speaking of the Dew is going to be our spirit guide.
Yes, we're going to have Martin Groves for the physical and then Dewey for the paranormal, immaterial.
He's our ghost host.
Ghost host. The ghost host with the most.
So, because we've not really focused on any of the paranormal ghost aspects of the LBL. We've been so caught up and focused on the dogman stuff and the physical cryptid stuff that we've kind of left that in the lurch. And there's a lot of really strange stuff in the LBL when it comes to the paranormal and ghosts. So, I think we want to, if we go back, I think we're going to focus on that a little bit.
Just another quick thing. Spirit Brothers UK was loving the show. Paranormal is just incredible. Not everyone gets it, but it's a personal interaction and very deep meaning. Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely. So, Stephen Bolden's mentioned that he was glad that we stuck with it. And yeah, a lot of times it's just, it happens every often, man. You're just out, and I've often thought about it too, those extremely challenging expeditions we have where nothing seems to go right and we don't experience anything odd. Maybe that's the odd thing. Maybe that's how it's messing.
That nothing goes right. Everything falls apart.
It gets its own enjoyment out of taking you to the breaking point and then reeling you back in.
That's another thing that we realize is it's hard for us to investigate with other people because this kind of work is very frustrating.
Yeah.
It's insanely frustrating, especially if you want to keep a critical eye on what you're doing. And if you want to go to the lengths that we go to get the evidence we get in terms of as far as we travel, our hiking, how much gear we take, how much equipment we have, it's very frustrating. And it's hard work. And it's hard for us to kind of do that with other people. We do it together, okay, because if we get into a fight, we're married, we can kind of get over it. But it's frustrating. It's very frustrating work. So it's not for the faint of heart, for sure.
I can see that episode of Divorce Court. What brings you here today? Why are you suing for divorce? Well, we were on a Bigfoot hunt, Your Honor.
Say no more.
Say no more. You're the fifth one I've seen this week. JD Smooth had said, do you have shadow people in that area that might be causing that? In the area of the cemetery. That area of the cemetery has had we used to go there and whatever was there was interactive, and it was almost like mischievous. And then it just went dead one day. And we've talked about this in the past. It just went dead one day, and we started kind of like exploring out more and more and more. And then we ran across that spot in North Georgia where we saw the portal UAP thing, and we had all this other stuff, the place where the equinox is at. So we have gotten some weird stories from this area, and we revisited it, and now it seems like there's activity there again, but it's not whimsical and playful anymore. It's kind of, it feels threatening there now. Would you agree with that after the other night?
Yeah.
It felt threatening there, and some of the stuff we heard was, we were hearing stuff that, I know that usually when you hear stuff in the woods, there are rational explanations you can go for. We spend a lot of time in the woods. We know that a fox can sound absolutely crazy sometimes. We have heard what we thought was a cougar mountain lion scream one night. We know what that sounds like. We have heard even deer sound weird when they make weird noises. Bears popping their jaws, all that. We spend time in the woods. We know what that stuff sounds like.
Especially after we got that crazy audio, we went through the gamut of what could this be. We got some really crazy audio in North Georgia. It's on our channel. The title of the video is Supernatural Screaming Lights and Supernatural Predators. That was some of the craziest audio we have ever captured.
But we've captured that, but
we've gone over every one of these possibilities.
And we heard coyotes that night, and we got, those are coyotes.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are normal sounding coyotes. But then the other stuff we sounded was not normal. We heard something that sounded like a woman screaming that then morphed into a baby crying, and then morphed into what sounded like a deaf man with a very deep voice just yelling gibberish, like not even words, just crazy. But it was all the same. It just morphed. One led directly into the other, and it didn't even sound like it was coming from different directions. It sounded like the same whatever was making all of these noises, and it was just bizarre. And it was that area has a threatening vibe to it now. So now we're definitely going back. Anyway, Valley Parks is asking, did y'all know there was another channel trumping around? I think you're talking about the LBL, and we're well aware that there was another channel 20 miles away, roughly, at that point.
When we were doing our live?
I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. So
yeah, like 20 miles away.
About 20 miles away, yeah. So anyway, let me get back through here.
I've been starring some stuff as I'm
going to get. Is the Laughing Beast expedition next? We have got to time that for some reasons that we can't get into here, but we are going to have that coming out before spring. We got to time that for
safety reasons.
We got to time that. Stingray's in the house. Did any of that crazy footage come out? Not yet. Hawk asks, what's that beacon thing do? So we have been in the woods before, and we have experienced strange electromagnetic fields, strange RF signals, that seem to happen when we experience other weird stuff in the woods. So Jesse and I had the idea of, well, let's generate that stuff and see if we can draw something in. Maybe these are associated with each other. And if we generate our own weird electromagnetic fields and RF signals, and we even added in infrared beacons, because everybody talks about how these things can see in infrared. So the goal of the beacon is to introduce some of these things that we've experienced into the environment to see if it either strengthens whatever's going on or draws in whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So, all right.
And we've had some really interesting results of that. Our Equinox 2 episode that might come on tonight. It might come on tomorrow. I don't know. We haven't decided when we're going to do it.
We'll see what's going on.
But it's uploaded. We will put that out. That was our first deployment of the beacon.
Yep.
So we're going to be experimenting more with that coming up.
Jumpin' Jack Flash, do you ever see green orbs in the LBL? Yeah, we've seen all sorts of, we've seen blue, green, red. We've seen pretty much every color imaginable in the LBL. We see a lot of ghost lights, a lot of spirit lights in the LBL. So
Bigfoot Society's in the house.
Bigfoot Society.
Hello, Jeremiah.
Talking about the divorce court, Your Honor, every time I try to talk to him, he responds with samurai chatter. We just can't communicate.
We really can't
anymore.
Sometimes.
Had asked if we still hear the booming in Georgia. We have the LBL. We have not heard booming in that area. It's not for a while. while, not for a couple of
No,
years.
we were in the dark corner this
Mhm.
weekend, and we didn't hear the booming stuff. But the we hear that in North Georgia a good bit, and
Mhm.
there's precedence for it in North Georgia. Make sure you guys hit that like button while you're here, while you're in the neighborhood.
While you're in the neighborhood.
Miranda Cruz says Joe is doing a great job tonight.
Jesse's wearing the hat though, so
I am wearing the hat.
Ed Brown popped in.
Hello, Ed Brown.
Hello,
How are
Ed
you
Brown.
today, sir?
We need to get in touch with you. Missouri Bravo saying emotional exhaustion takes a toll. Yeah, it's just that, and like sometimes it's just because again we don't really have normal lives outside of stuff like this. Like we don't really. Jesse had even talked about it was funny because we're on the couch the other night and we're sitting there. I think it was when we finally got home, wasn't it? Yes, as we were taking our boots off and we're exhausted, and you were going, I really want to go on a real normal vacation. None of this stuff, like an actual vacation.
Well, because like our anniversary is coming up, and I was like, I want to take a trip.
And then she names the place she wants to take the trip to, and then she goes, ooh, there's a lot of haunted spots near there. Maybe we should just take the ghost equipment. And I'm going, all right, so this is not going to be a normal vacation at all.
Sorry.
This is just going to be a ghost trip.
Hawk asks, have you ever heard what sounds like native drums? Yes. We actually have them on camera. When we were in the dark corner area, we've gotten what sounds like drumming in the distance, and I flipped out when I heard it, and we tried to go towards it, and it stopped.
Yeah.
But we have gotten that before.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. It wasn't, there's nobody else up there. I mean, I guess there's somebody could, and I always go back to this. Maybe somebody snuck in. Maybe somebody is wearing a suit that doesn't, that reflects out body heat, that doesn't show up on the thermal, and they're banging on a drum, and somehow that doesn't show up on the thermal. The thermal really will tell us if there's people around trying to hoax us.
Yeah.
But
I want to look into that guy at this point.
Yeah, exactly. This dude, the phantom drummer.
The phantom drummer.
So.
Deborah Stewart, thank you for that $20.
Thank you, Deborah Stewart. Thank you, Jess. You are doing a great job tonight.
So I got the hat on.
So I got the hat. So.
I don't believe in false advertising. You can get sued for that. You'd win in divorce court because of my false advertising.
Exactly right. So I'm just gonna throw this up here. My roommate says our house is haunted, but I've lived here 139 years. So I've never seen anything. Shirtless dad. Damn, stealing the show.
Oh God. Not that Jared, we covered this a second ago. We weren't very thorough with it. Do you guys have plans to go back to the Laughing Beast area? Absolutely. We are absolutely going back, but we have to time that to a certain time of year because of hunting season.
Yeah.
So
I want to throw this up real quick because this applies on a few different levels. And this is Patty Hurst herself asks, perhaps you should have an audio specialist take a look at the peek at what you've gleaned audio wise. What we have ran into is that specialists in almost every field of this sort of stuff, whether it's like video review, audio review, or anything like that, it's very rare to get someone who is open-minded enough that will admit the possibility that it's something out of the ordinary that you caught.
Mm-hmm.
So if you play audio for them, they will go, oh, that's a feral hog. And you go, whatever it was picked up the recorder pretty high. Well, maybe and they're going to give you a natural answer because in their minds, there's no other possibility, even if the answer that they're giving you doesn't make sense.
They just don't want to take that extra leap.
They don't have the ability to take that extra leap.
Yeah.
So that's what you run into because we would love to go that route sometimes because we're pretty gifted amateurs with some of this stuff, but we're definitely not professionals in audio review. You know what I'm saying? But you would never get one of them would just go, well, it has to be this because what else could it be?
There's no way it could be an upright 7 foot tall hominid.
The stuff that we've heard as far as like the Brown Mountain footage, it was low flying helicopters that were doing that. Well, no, it wasn't because we were there and we didn't hear helicopters and you could see planes. Well, what else could it be? It has to be
Chinese lanterns.
Chinese lanterns
Swamp
is the best.
gas.
Yeah, so
swamp gas.
Chinese lantern gas. So
Mark Webster. When are you gonna sell your own beef jerky? I used to. I need to start my own jerky line. Lyle Blackburn has his hot sauce. I can have my beef jerky company.
Jimmy Mims. Do you think the different voices were to see which one you would respond to? I don't know. I've never heard anything morph like that. And we're hoping we got it on camera. And if we did get it on camera, we're hoping that was wild because we literally just went, that sounds like this. All right, now it sounds like this. And it wasn't like a blah, 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 pause, blah, blah, blah. It was like literally going in from
It
one
was
end to
like
the
going
other.
through
It was the
but it was like a
craziest freaking
continuous
thing.
stream.
It's
Katie
crazy.
came over and actually listened. Katie was the one that saved the day on the live stream thing. Catch is what she's on here with a K. Katie came over and listened to some of the audio last night, and she was like, "What is that? What is that?" So it's very odd. I've actually started working on that video, so you guys will actually be able to hear that stuff soon coming up. I don't have a title for that stuff.
Marcus Aurelius, if you can record, aka pin down on an energy extrapolation, can it be reproduced to open a portal? With what we're packing in, just on our backpacks, it's not going to generate enough of anything to, I think, open something. We're calling it the beacon because we're hoping to like a candle in the darkness, right? And draw something in. Now, since you touched upon it, let's talk about it. If maybe that area is conducive, the natural properties, the unnatural properties of that area is conducive to things like portals opening, maybe a little nudge is all it needs.
Yeah.
And we can give that little nudge. So yeah, we've never really talked about it openly, but you brought it up, so let's address it. We're trying to draw stuff in, and it's not just physical stuff on two legs walking around the woods that we're trying to draw in. If maybe it's just like a boulder, teetering on the edge of a cliff, all it needs is a little nudge.
Or it's the last snowflake that causes the avalanche.
And that's exactly right. So just a little nudge. I know we're not generating a lot of power ourselves, but
it seems like it does something. I don't know what.
We've had bad reactions,
Pretty
good
much.
or bad reactions. So
that's up for interpretation.
Yeah.
It's been a mixed bag that's not been great on us.
Mm-hmm.
We've had kind of negative effects from it.
Yeah.
But we're going to just try to be wary about those and try to just keep moving forward in the best possible way we can.
Yep.
We can't exactly turn around now. We're going down that road.
All right. So people are excited about the Hellbent Holler jerky.
I'm not getting into that yet. God, I'm already so busy with this.
That's like somebody had asked us about merch, and I'm like, we'll get to it, but we kind of we right now it's a timing issue. We've just got too much weirdness going on. And Way of the Sploot has a great point. Specialists were taught classic scientific method. They want proof, definable proof. And one of the things with a lot of scientists are taught that you throw out outliers when you have a sample set. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of this stuff is the definition of outlier phenomenon. It's not definitely everyday ordinary stuff.
The BFRO are famous for doing that.
Yeah.
If they're given a report that has an orb in it or an associated UFO or something that doesn't fit the profile that they're comfortable with, they either alter the reports or they don't take them at all. Mm-hmm. So that's junk data in, junk out.
Junk data out. So, and Nutslap had said, create your own metal door sound to open the portal. We're going to
a decoy door.
Well, here's the deal: that might be something we actually look into doing. We're not big on call blasting or anything like that, but introducing some unique tones and unique frequencies out there might be.
Well, we had discussed because when we did Laughing Beast that first time, we got that weird like deep tonality that
Mm-hmm.
we discussed taking a recording of that
and trying to repeat it back out,
sending it back out and seeing if anything happened.
Crystal's got the idea. We need a hellbender who owns a plane equipped with a magnometer to do an LBL flyover and find those doors. Done. So crazy. So all right, anyway, Ivan Ramirez had a question. Have you either heard your names called out on your live investigations? Not on our live investigations, but when we captured that audio near that tree that we put out, and that's where the recorder gets picked up, and we heard that clicking kind of vocalizations and then the grunts and growls. One of them sounds like it goes, Joe and Jesse, like real weird.
Yeah.
And Jesse didn't even hear it at first. And I was like, just sit
I
here.
didn't think that's what it said at first. I was like, there's no freaking
don't
way.
lean towards stuff like that. And even what I just did, like pales, it's so gravelly. It's so like rough. It's like a growl. It's like you got like a freaking grizzly bear and taught it how to, not even that, man. I don't know. It's like, it just sounds so rough and gravelly and deep. It sounded like, it's like if you took something that didn't have vocal cords that were set to be able to reproduce human speech and you got them to say that. So
yeah,
crazy stuff. So crazy stuff. Anyway,
Ricardo said, try a baby crying sound because Bigfoot does it for a reason. People have tried that before where they've call blasted like a crying sound and sometimes they'll get activity, sometimes not. I'm wary about doing something like that. That seems, I don't know. That's just not our style to do something like that. I'm not comfortable doing that. That seems expedition Bigfooty to me.
Paul Boogly asked, do your cats act strange when you get home from doing this stuff? I wouldn't be able to tell.
Because they're strange all the time.
Because they're strange all the damn time. Then Marcus had said, personally, I don't care what scientists think anymore. You could place a body before them and they wouldn't touch it to rescue their reputation. That's it.
Their reputation or their funding.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, that's exactly what happens with it. I think that we were watching a brief little thing about the Harvard psychiatrist John Mack, who was involved with the UFO, like talking to UFO abductees and UFO witnesses. And he came into it going, oh, this is a new, psychological ailment that's starting to afflict people. And then he came out going, no, these people are legit. They have legitimate trauma from what they've witnessed, but they're completely sane in every other regard. They like tore him up after that. They were literally going, you need to say that this is basically some sort of psychosis and put these people on drugs. And he was just like, not going to do it.
It's like in Star Trek when they're trying to make him say that there's what, 5 lights when there's 3.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he just would not.
Just absolutely. And it takes a lot of balls to say no and just stick to your guns on that.
Yeah. And you get people, and then you get people like this that have based their entire careers on a particular idea or theory. Anything that challenges that, that's going to destroy their life's work. They're not going to be, they're going to be a footnote instead of like, have a whole chapter devoted to them and the history of science at that point. Nobody wants that sort of
stuff. Good night, Lady Wolf.
Night, Lady Wolf.
Joe and Jesse.
It was, Joe and Jesse, which is weird because even tonight.
Because I should always be first.
I mean, you usually are in this stuff. It's always Jesse and Joe. And this was like Joe and Jesse.
Maybe he doesn't watch the channel.
Maybe he's not a big fan. Yeah. There we go. So there we are. But it's weird too, because we heard a lot of people talking about how upset you seemed when you did that little live from the car as well.
Yeah.
You had you were obviously, it's just weird because we were hiking out. We were trying to get a signal because we understood that people were worried about us. It was frustrating because we couldn't get a signal anywhere. Luckily, the satellite communicator started working again because that was not functioning the way it should.
No, it wasn't. That malfunctioned as well, which freaks me the heck out because if we need that, we can't have it malfunctioning.
People are talking about don't follow the sounds of the orbs. We have in areas tried to follow the lights and then had to go, whoa, there's a huge drop off here. That happened where the screaming, where the laughing beast is, remember? There was a huge like drop off there. Do you ever stop and think that no matter how hard you try, all this will ever amount is to what you've already experienced? I hope I'm wrong, but sometimes I wonder what's going to be the smoking gun. I don't know if a smoking gun's possible at this point.
And I don't think we're aiming for a smoking gun.
That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
If we just got like the video or the photo or the audio or, something.
I think that you have to start looking at it and the fact that, like was mentioned earlier, that a lot of this is like a personal experience. And maybe our whole goal is just to give somebody out there like a little piece they were missing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe find that missing piece ourselves. But it's I've mentioned this before. What I always have a hard time with is that you you see people and they've got it all figured out. They've got all this figured out, and there's like a certain pompousness to it, like I'm a expert in this particular aspect of it. And for me, this has been the exact opposite. This is like an ego killer. Any ego you had about this sort of stuff getting into it,
because you get very confident in something, and then it's just
it's dashed
everything's
right,
dashed
in front of your very eyes, and you start to realize that the phenomenon as a whole, and I'm not talking about all the different aspects, but let's just say this is like one overarching phenomenon, toys with you. It almost knows what you're going to do it before you do it. It's just always several steps ahead of you. The moment you think you get something figured out, something else appears that just dashes that. It kills your ego. You come away very humbled by this whole experience, realizing how vast this all is. And just every time, we always talk about it, every time we try to get something figured out and we're starting to go in like a new direction, there's all this stuff you have to learn, because it's like a spider web. It just branches out more and more and more, and
it becomes more and more
you
complicated.
feel so small, like investigating this stuff. You feel very small and tiny by comparison,
insignificant and completely idiotic sometimes.
And that's why I look at it where I just go, these people that just are just, well, the dog man does this, and I'm going, how do you know? I mean, maybe in this particular case, but you look far enough and long enough, you're going to find very credible witnesses who say the exact polar opposite.
Yeah.
So explain that to me, but yeah, this is definitely an ego killer. It's something that keeps you humbled.
And that's another thing too, is even if you got some sort of excellent proof of some facet of the phenomenon, whether it be Bigfoot or ghosts or Dogman, you've got all of these other facets that you have nothing on. Are they? We would have to pursue that, because, like, all right, so you got this. Is there more? Where's the proof of this? What are we missing here?
Like Kim Drescher says, it's a giant puzzle. We don't have the mathematics to complete the puzzle. And I think that's part of what keeps all of this so mysterious is that all the ghost hunters are looking at the ghost aspect. The Bigfoot people are looking at Bigfoot. Dogman people are looking at Dogman. UFO researchers are looking at the skies and like UFO contactee stuff. Nobody's looking at it as a whole. And when you do, you get so dwarfed by it that there's no one particular person that has the skills necessary to address every aspect of the phenomenon. And when you try to get a group together, well, the trickster element comes into play again, and that group ends up just imploding.
Every time.
Every time the group ends up imploding. The guy that wrote Trickster and the Paranormal talked about every paranormal group he had ever been involved in.
Or UFO group, yeah.
Yeah, from like a laboratory setting to just a group of friends who hooked together to do this, it always implodes. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like that's by design. Of the thing you're looking into plays on insecurities and fears and just personal friction, and the groups always implode. So...
But if you're in lockstep with a group of people,
but then again,
you won't get anywhere.
You need a group of people with different skills and different opinions.
There has to be a level of conflict,
and
pushback on ideas and methods for anything to advance.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is we always say we don't necessarily need everybody to agree with us. We don't really want everybody to agree with us. Respectfully disagree and go, well, I'm going to investigate my thing. You investigate your thing. Let's compare notes as we go. And maybe you find something that runs completely counter to what I'm looking into. That's cool. That gives us a further understanding. I think I always go back to this. I think that the greater phenomenon presents itself in different ways to different people to keep everybody confused. So I go, Bigfoot, what I saw behaves like an animal. It was eating berries. It seemed like it smelled me, and then it went into the brush. And you go, well, I had a Bigfoot encounter, but it cloaked and I heard its voice in my mind. I look at you and I go, you're full of crap, because what you experienced doesn't match up with what I experienced. And then you look at me and go, what I saw was not a monkey, was not an ape. You're lying. And I think that it does that. It breeds uncertainty and people just disagreeing with one another. Marcus, thank you for your generosity, kind sir. To address valid questions, the journey getting there, and any new extrapolation of information gleaned, no matter how small, is advantageous to the body of the knowledge. And that's what we're hanging our hats on, man. We're going to, even if we get to the point where we just learn to investigate in like a different manner and ask different questions that are I think that's going to be valuable.
I think so too. Yeah. You want to go ahead and get this knife check out of the way from Miranda Crew?
Oh yeah, let's get the knife check done. I had to
Knife
take mine
check,
out of my
Miranda
pocket.
Crew.
So I'm carrying a knife that I actually bought on me and Jesse's like first kind of semi date.
Port of call.
Yes.
We had
steaks and went knife shopping.
Yeah.
All those
good.
years ago. So
And I met Steven Dorff outside of the restaurant.
there was steakhouse, yeah.
Yeah, because it was raining, and Joe went to go get my car, and
like a gentleman.
And Steven Dorff and I were standing under the awning.
And you were about the same size as Steven Dorff.
I was the same size. Steven Dorff is very small. He was in one of my favorite movies, Blade, as a vampire.
Indeed.
But he's a very tiny man. So there you go. My great Steven Dorff first date with that knife story.
That's a Boker AFD advanced fighting dagger. It's like a little folding dagger type. Well, it's not little, but so
I gotta put my glasses on for mine because I'm very unhinged today.
Yes.
I've decided that I'm committing to being unhinged. The glasses have
just embrace it.
The glasses have just transmogrified me into the great one. I have a cleaver today.
Sweet Jesus.
I got this for Christmas a couple years ago. I love it. It's an SE cleaver. Yeah, it's got Idaho cut out of it, that's upside down Idaho.
That's where SE's based out of. So.
But yes, it is a cleaver. It's like a tactical cleaver. It has a leather sheath with it. But it's a tactical cleaver. I always wanted a tactical cleaver, and one of my favorite knife companies made one with expat knives, and I had to have it. So that is my tactical cleaver. I actually had to.
We've killed chickens with it.
We've had to dispatch some chickens with this thing.
Yeah, we've done everything.
So I've prepared meals with this, dispatched chickens, done a lot of stuff with it. It's good. Cut some wood. So
2 Blade references in one day. What was the other Blade reference? Oh, I remember what the other Blade reference was. Yes, okay.
What?
We were talking about all he needs is a shotgun that shoots silver steaks out of it. So anyway.
There should be more than 2 Blade references in a day, so it's not a good day if you only have 2.
There was another comment up here real quick that I wanted to catch real quick. We're not going to go super late tonight. Moondog Davis, it has the mind of Loki. And I would say let's do a Hellbender book club one time where we all read a book and discuss it. Trickster and the Paranormal ain't it. You know what I'm saying? It's dense. It's difficult to get through. If it's difficult to get through if you have a background in anthropology, and if you don't have a background in anthropology, you're going to constantly have to stop and cross-reference stuff. But it's so insightful. But it is all of these aspects of the trickster when you take them in totality, these archetypes. It does. It has that classical trickster from like Norse mythology, from Hermes and Mercury from like Greek and Roman mythology, Coyote from like Native American, folk tales. It's just all has that trickster in that it likes to play tricks, but also that the uncertainty, the breaking of social norms, which when you get down to this, a lot of this cryptozoology and paranormal stuff, it's breaking of social norms. It's stuff that's not supposed to happen in the everyday real world. You're breaking consensus reality at that point.
And the way we do stuff is a breaking of the social norms that is inside of cryptozoology.
Yeah, we don't follow the rules of cryptozoology.
Not at all. We don't follow the rules of the people who have been doing this for so long.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get contacted by groups that are like, "Hey, we would like you to come out with us and do this," and I go, "Not a good match, guys. Let's save us all of ourselves some frustration."
I ain't your guy.
What we do is really weird, and I'm not saying it's better or it's worse.
It's not going to mesh.
It's not going to mesh. We are going to be out with like weird equipment going, "Hey, let's do this," and you're going, "We're trying to hunt Bigfoot, man. Why are you saying we need to break out this weird, equipment, do this weird scientific tech stuff?" Well, that's how we do it, because I think there's enough people doing what you guys do. What?
Encryptic. Steven Dorff is a dwarf.
He was a dwarf, apparently. People are actually saying they're in for like a book club. Everybody's going, reading full, love books.
Love books.
Love books.
Much reading.
We might try that, man. We might try Might try that. I don't know. That's a pretty good idea. It ain't gonna be Trickster and the Paranormal though. That's too damn much, man. So
Too dense.
too dense. Too dense.
There's
So,
a companion to it. That's terrible. The companion to the
the
Trickster.
companion is the you can tell that somebody sat down and went, I'm gonna like write a simplified like Cliff Notes version of Trickster and the Paranormal. And then they just went, holy shit, that ain't gonna happen. But I gotta deliver something to my publisher. How about I just talk basically about what each chapter is and leave it at that? You know what I'm saying? With no explanation whatsoever. So all right.
Do you want to make a decision on this?
Take a poll. Guys, what we can keep doing is this. We got 264 people in the chat tonight.
Equinox 2 is ready.
Equinox 2 is ready. We can keep doing this, just shoot the breeze, or we can do a live premiere of Equinox 2, and then we all jump in the chat together. We can jump in the chat with you guys and kind of discuss it as it goes. Let's do an informal poll right after Marcus Aurelius's talk about dwarf tossing. What do you guys want to do? Those of you that are here tonight, do you want to keep this rolling, or do you want to do a live premiere and I'll discuss the Portal 2? I'm open to either one.
I'm open to either one.
I'm open to either one.
But if we do the Equinox tonight, we're done after the Equinox.
We're done after Equinox. We're not coming
we
back.
both have to work.
So you guys tell us if you want to do the.
You want to finish this and then we premiere Equinox tomorrow at 7?
Or do you want to do it now?
Or you want to do it now?
If you want to do.
Now we'd have to premiere. I'd have to set a time for premiere and we'd have to go over there to that. Go to that.
Yeah.
This would end and then we'd premiere Equinox.
And then, yeah, so we would stop here and then you keep an eye out.
Don't ask Everyday Pyro because he's been begging for this video for weeks now.
Oh yeah. Drop it. Yeah, I see that. So he's been begging for it for.
Yeah.
But you guys, it's a 45-minute video. It would take us up to right about 9:30.
Yeah. It's 42 minutes and 39 seconds.
You guys want to do it up? You want to do it?
Okay.
Speak now or forever hold
your peace.
And now this is open for everybody. This is not a members thing. This is everybody and their mother can hop in. Actually, wake your mothers up. Tell them to hop. Mom, I want you to watch these 2 weirdos from South Carolina. Encrypted Connections mom loves us.
She does. I have to set it to premiere at a certain time or yeah.
So how about we do this? We give everybody time to go to the bathroom and do whatever.
It's going to premiere at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. We're going to premiere this bad boy at 9 p.m. We're going to be in the chat with you all. It's ready to go, right?
Yeah, it's ready to go. 9 p.m.
Yeah.
It's set. Change is saved.
So we're going to do it. Whoa, hold on 1 second. I've got all 4 of the Forbidden Science books by Jacques Vallée's EPUBs. If any, Getty, shoot me an email.
You know the email. All right, so it's going to go public November 20th, 2023 at 9 p.m. That's now. That's in 13 minutes.
13 minutes. We're going to wrap this up.
All right.
Just curious. 12 minutes, to be precise.
12 minutes, yeah.
So what will happen is we are going to, that is 9 p.m. Eastern. Yes. So in 12 minutes, Sugi. Awesome. I got to pee. All right. So we're going to wrap this up here. Actually in 2 minutes here, and then you're going to have 10 minutes to get all your stuff done.
And then we've got let's do the sci-fi countdown. Oh, yeah.
What is that?
You're going to have a 2-minute countdown length. 1 minute countdown length.
2-minute countdown.
2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
All right. Set as a premiere trailer. We've never done a premiere before, so
we've never done a premiere before. So, what'll happen is this video is going to end. We are going to grab food and sit here and eat and watch this with you all. We won't be on the screen, but we'll be in the chat. Matter of fact, we'll probably both be in the chat.
Yeah.
She'll probably be Hellbent Holler, and I'll probably be Hellbent. You'll know who I am.
We'll see what happens because we don't really know how this works because we've never done a premiere before. Don't make any promises.
Making all these promises.
All right, we got the sci-fi countdown. All right, guys, you've got 11 minutes, and then the premiere of Equinox 2 begins.
Now, here's the deal: we will be in the chat. Okay, we will. Anybody who does super chat questions, we will have to answer those in the chat. So look for the answer in the chat. We won't be on the screen. It'll just be the video that Jesse has finished up, getting compiled up for the follow-up to the equinox. But if anybody has any questions they want to ask while this is going on, do it. And it might take us a couple of seconds because we're going to be in the chat real time to answer, but we will answer you.
Yeah.
One of us will answer
All
you
right.
if you do that. So
go get your snacks.
Go get your
All right.
snacks. We're going to
Thank you guys for being part of Hellbent Holler Live. We're going to get a small bowl of chili, and then we're
Big
going
bowl
to
of
sit
chili,
here
so.
and do this. But thank you. Join us for the premiere of Equinox Part 2 at 9 p.m. in 10 minutes. So get your snacks. It's 42 minutes long.
Our first premiere video ever.
Our first premiere. F it. We do it live. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you. Join us over there for that. If not, we'll see you next week. Keep an eye out. We got more stuff coming out. Y'all are badass. We love you. And we'll see y'all in 10 minutes.